And we are live.
Well, good evening, everybody. This is Tim Terranova, the proud superintendent of the Victor Central School District. And joining me are some friends of mine from the elementary schools. As you know, most of the time we have special guests on our show, on our town hall on a monthly basis. This year we have yet, I believe, to have our elementary students, and our elementary students are such a vital part of the Victor Central School District. So in a few seconds, I'm going to introduce everybody, and then we're going to have a little conversation around how school's going and things like that, and how important school is, and some of the good things as well as some of the challenges about school this year. I think it's a great opportunity to listen to some of our young leaders. They are from the intermediate building as well as our primary building. And then when they are finished, if we have a few minutes afterwards, I'll give you some updates that we have as we move into the holiday and the year of 2022. So without further ado, let me introduce our friends here. First, I want to start with our sixth graders. We have a group of sixth graders with us. Very glad to have you here. Let's start with Bristol. Bristol, introduce yourself, my friend.
Hi, my name is Bristol Brancato, and I'm a sixth grader at Victor Intermediate School. I'm in chorus, all-county chorus, Victor Rhythm Machine, and student council.
Oh, nice job, Bristol. Way to be involved. Good to meet you. Sinathy.
Hi, my name is Sinathy. I'm in sixth grade. Just like Bristol said, I am in chorus. I'm in select chorus and student council. I'm also in L County. I love skiing and giving presentations.
Great job, Sinathy. Good to see you. Josephine, where are you?
Hi, I'm Josephine. I'm in sixth grade. I'm in chorus. I'm also in Winter Guard. It's a club of like after school. And then and also in student council.
Winter Guard, that's with the flags and everything, right? That's pretty cool. Nice job, Josephine. Kira.
Hi, I'm Kira. I'm in band. I play clarinet. I'm in student council, and outside of school, I play piano.
How long you been playing piano, Kira?
Since kindergarten.
Wow, that's awesome. Thank you. And we have a couple other sixth graders here. Don't want to forget Landon. How you doing, Landon?
I'm doing good. Well, I am also in student council as the others, and I love the outdoors.
You do? What's your favorite thing you do outdoors?
I love skiing.
Skiing. Great. Great to meet you, Landon. And then last but not least, in terms of our sixth graders, Jack. How you doing, Jack?
I'm good. I'm Jack Harris, and I'm in band, all county band and jazz band, and I play the trumpet.
Wow. How long you been playing the trumpet?
3-4 years.
Yeah, that's awesome. Keep going, keep doing that. And then we're going to go to our third grader. So we have a set of fantastic twins with us, Gia and Ella. Gia, why don't you just say a little bit about yourself, okay? Nice and loud.
I'm Gia, and I like to play sports.
You like sports?
Yeah.
Awesome. Hi, Bella.
Hi, my name's Ella, and I
Ella.
love. Yeah. I play cello, and I love lacrosse.
Yeah, so your full name is Gabriella. So I just messed it up and called you Bella. So we won't use the B. We'll just say Ella. Is that okay?
People call me
Yeah, all right. Yeah, I don't want to mess that up. And Amaya, how are you today?
Hi, I'm Amaya. I have twin brothers that are identical. I have another brother and a sister, and I love dancing and singing.
Wow. So you have are your twin brothers younger or older than you?
I'm the oldest in my family.
Oh, wow. You boss them around a little bit?
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Excellent. Did I miss anybody? I think I got all of you. We got a bunch of sixth graders and 3 fantastic third graders. So, let's start with our third graders a little bit. And Amaya, can I come back to you? So,
Yeah.
tell me a little bit about, how the school year this year in third grade has gone for you. Like,
Well, this third grade year has gone good for me. I've learned a lot. I've learned how to read a lot and math, and I like director schools a lot.
yeah, you like reading and math, huh?
Yeah,
That's pretty
and
cool.
science.
You like science? Now, has there been any challenges this year?
Yeah. Sometimes I can't figure out the math equations, and sometimes I can't figure out big words.
Yeah, you're just like I am. Big words, a lot of syllables in those.
Yeah.
All right, how about our twins? Gia. Gia, what do you like about school?
Um, I like math, science, and reading.
Wow. And is there anything that's challenging about school this year?
Yeah, probably COVID a lot because I'm used to usually not wearing masks and not social distancing.
Distancing.
Yeah.
That could be tough. How about you, Ella?
What's really hard for me, what's challenging in school for me is probably not being able to like be with my friends a lot. Like some of my friends are like they're not like my best friend recently moved away. So
Oh,
it's
boy.
hard for me to like be without her and stuff.
Yeah. So your best friend moved. That's got to be tough.
Yeah.
But they have things like FaceTime and that stuff now where you could actually talk to your friend and see your
Yeah.
friend.
What do you
Back when I was in school, they didn't have that. We just had a regular telephone. It's pretty exciting, isn't it? Yes. All right. Well, thank you, Ella and Gia. Thanks for that information. Jack, talk a little bit about, what some positive things are this year and any challenges for you.
Well, I like ELA a lot because over the year it's really made me want to become a illustrator author. So it's really helped me out in doing that. So but I'd say the biggest challenges is trying to fit in and making new friends that haven't been in my previous classes.
Yeah, that's not easy, is it? Fitting in.
No.
We could talk about that a little bit too. Thanks, Jack. Appreciate that. Landon, how about you?
Well, positives to the school year is obviously we're back in school finally, and we are not remote or hybrid, so it's great to be in school, and I think it's a lot easier in school than it is out, and I think the teachers have a lot like an easier job doing in school. And then there's challenges with TikTok. So personally, TikTok is a big challenge because it changes kids' behaviors, and it's also kind of influenced kids to do not things that they should be doing. For instance, they've been taking things from the school, and there's been some threats.
Yeah, through TikTok. That's a great point, Landon. I appreciate that. We can come back to that too. That's important to talk about. Kira, how about you?
What I've liked about school so far is that I get to be back with people because I was virtual last year, so that was a struggle for me. And challenges are like just COVID in general.
Yeah. Kira, what's the biggest challenge with COVID in your mind?
I feel like a big challenge with COVID is normally I get to interact with friends in and outside of school, but with COVID, that's more restricted. So I can't like see friends more often than just in school.
That's tough to do. Thanks, Kira. Josephine, what are some good stuff? What's some good stuff and as well as some challenges for you?
Well, good things are I'm happy to be back in school. I did not like learning online personally. I like one of the challenges when I was like virtual was whenever I had a question, I always had to email and wait to get the answer back. And like once I get that answer back, I usually figure it out by then. So it
Yeah.
takes a while. But then so I'm just glad to be back in school. But the negatives right now are like I don't like wearing masks. Seeing friends is hard. And you have to like try to like figure something out outside of school to hang out with people because you can't really like some people aren't in the same classes as you and like you don't have like the same schedule so you can't talk with all your friends.
Yeah, that's tough. Sinathy, how you doing?
I feel the school year has gone like tremendously well for me, especially compared to last year. Last year, I felt like I didn't do my best. I felt like I could have put a lot of more effort into my work. And I also didn't like being online because, like Josephine said, when you were to like send your teacher like a question by the time they got back, you would have already figured it out, or you just weren't able to do it. One thing I do love this year is I'm able to be able to like talk to friends a lot more, especially compared to last year because it was a lot limited during the pandemic. There are a few problems, but I feel like I'm going to mention those when we decide to talk about problems.
Okay, you want to talk about that later?
Yes.
Okay. Bristol, how about you?
Hi, thank you for having me again. So, I think something that's gone really well this year is being able to be back to extracurricular activities, like, as I said, chorus, orchestra, student council, sports, all those activities outside of your house. I think that's like super exciting and something that's gone really well, especially because of COVID. We haven't been able to do that. So I think that's something I've enjoyed doing. And then something I think a challenge is COVID, but more specifically masks, because you're not able to see like people's like facial features and like it's kind of hard to detect how people are feeling and stuff like that. So it's just obviously been different. So this year, but this school year's gone well, I think.
Thanks, Bristol. Yeah, so I heard a lot about masks. We hear a lot of conversations around masks on the news and from the adults, some certainly for it, some people very, frustrated about having all of you wear them. Anybody want to talk a little more about masks and what they think? Because it is tough. You got to wear them, but at the same time, there's some challenges with it. Jack, you want to talk?
Yeah, I definitely think masks help out a lot, but at the same time, I know people might be just thinking that no, they're not that helpful, nor are they like not good, but I think I definitely do not like them, but if for my safety, I'd wear them.
Okay. Amaya, you want to talk?
I think that masks have been difficult because some kids can't breathe to them and it's hard to hear people. And then.
Thanks, Amaya. Any, Sinathy, and then I'll go to Landon.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like parents and guardians and like teachers and aides, they have like a really important role when it comes to like keeping us safe, which is like wearing a mask and also following other safety protocols. So I do feel like having masks is a good idea because I feel like it keeps us safe, but it doesn't also like, it can be challenging. So I do understand that it does, like, you can't see people's emotions that well. And it's kind of a little bit crazy when you see people taking off their masks that you don't know. You're like, whoa, you look like that. Um, I feel like I'd wear it though because it keeps me safe.
Landon.
It's a big debate between masks. Obviously, they're keeping us safe. Because COVID would be a outbreak and crazy if we didn't have masks. But masks can be difficult because some people can't breathe as well or have asthma, and breathing is a lot harder for them. And then putting on a mask where it's right in front of you can be a lot more difficult.
Gia, did you want to say something?
Yeah, it's challenging to keep the mask on because I want to take them off because I'm used to not wearing masks.
Yeah, so it's interesting. We talked about this when we talked earlier I talked earlier with this group. So we got Gia, Ella, and Amaya. They actually, you guys are in third grade, so you haven't been in a full year of in-person school since kindergarten class. Because in first grade, they ended up going out in March. In second grade, we had the hybrid model last year. So, so you were in kindergarten, that was your last full year, and now you're coming back and you're wearing a mask, and you wore a mask for a little bit last year too. So it's got to be a little bit challenging. Our sixth graders on tonight, they actually haven't had a quote full year of in-person school since third grade, since they were the same age as Amaya, Gia, and Ella, which is really fascinating to me. And so certainly in third grade, you didn't have to wear masks either. And we're mandated by the state health department and our local health department to wear masks. It's by the governor, actually. And we do feel like certainly that does protect us, especially at a better rate than not having them when you have all these people in one spot. But it can be really challenging just for me to talk to people. So I can't imagine what it's like for you in class when you have to speak, and also just to have, talk to your friends. It must be, is it better at lunch when you can take your mask off and talk and eat? Yeah. How many of you are eating in the lunchroom right now versus the classroom? Everybody's in the lunchroom? Okay, good. That's excellent. Anything else about COVID that's been really challenging for you besides masks?
Quarantining, that's a really big challenge because obviously we've been in hybrid and everyone's somewhat used to the computers, but computers are a lot more challenging than in-person school. So it's kind of like a stretch because, for instance, our school had like 14 classes in quarantine not too long ago, and
Yeah.
one
And
was just not in school.
were you how many people were, raise your hand if you were quarantined this year from school? Holy mackerel, most of you. Yeah, they've loosened that up to where it's not the same as it was before. Now we're looking at, they're just looking at lunchroom and buses, unless you were exposed to somebody at home. How many of you had to test? Have any of you been able to test out of being quarantined in school? Really? Timothy, you were tested out?
No, sorry, I
No?
wasn't.
Because we have had a bunch of kids who that's happened. Bristol, you wanted to talk. I'm sorry.
It's okay. About COVID, it's not as much this year as it was last year, and obviously when COVID first started. But honestly, I really didn't like going virtual. I couldn't see my teachers, I couldn't see my classmates, none of my friends, nobody. It was, unless it was like on a Zoom or something. And it was really hard, like people have said, like having to email your teachers and then wait for a response back, or like being confused on your work, because it's a complicated process, and none of us were like, I feel like, that prepared, and we still don't, like, we're still not completely aware of everything. So I think it was just a very like confusing situation for me, and I didn't like it. So I'm very glad this year and a little bit of time last year that we were able to go back in person.
Go ahead, Timothy.
I know from me and Landon's experience, we're in the same class. So a lot of kids were quarantined. So we actually, our whole class had to be quarantined. And that was just like a complete drag because we missed out, I'd say, on like a lot of stuff. Especially because like we were behind on certain lessons. So we had to like push those forwards, but also learn like on Zoom, which can be a bit of a challenge for certain people. So I feel like that was kind of crazy. And I feel like I partly missed out on stuff I could have done. So yeah.
Good point. Jack.
I was one of the classes that wasn't quarantined, but I really do feel bad for the people that were quarantined because all of those classes they missed out on possible PE fun, like I don't know if they were there for Mission Impossible or stuff like that, but like they could have missed out on a lot of fun stuff like that.
Good point. Kira, you wanted to say something?
I agree with Jack. My class was another one that wasn't quarantined. And I feel like everyone that was, there were like 3 teams left in the 6th grade that were not quarantined. And so I feel like everyone that was quarantined didn't get to do everything. They missed out on a lot of things. And I definitely know from last year, learning online is not easy.
Right. Yeah, you're making great points, and I'm glad they definitely changed the way they quarantine classes, because not only certainly you were affected the most because you were the guys who were quarantined, but your parents and guardians had to deal with all that, and then of course our staff had to try to figure things out, and even some of them were quarantined. So it was a tough thing. Cynthia, go ahead.
From what Kira was saying, I feel like it was also really hard to virtual learn because I felt like last year the teachers tried to do as much as they could to try to help us. But I feel like I personally had to like teach part myself. And then I also felt like others, like this is basically the chance for others to become lazy and instead like play video games or do other stuff like that. So I wasn't a big fan of not being in person for learning. I preferred to be actually present. So that just helps me as a student.
Josephine, and then Landon.
So one of the challenges for me during virtual learning was I had to teach myself, but then I also had to teach my younger sister.
Oh boy, how'd you do? Pretty good.
I think.
Yeah,
But she's in 1st grade now, so she was in kindergarten while I was teaching her. So it was a challenge for her and for me because I didn't know completely what they were learning. And sometimes the teacher didn't fully explain what I was supposed to be teaching her.
it was challenging. Yeah. Go ahead, Landon, and then Maya, you want to say something? We'll go ahead, Landon.
Yeah, I'm in big agreement with everyone here because there's so many side distractions when you're on a computer instead of being in person, because there's so much more you can do in class and so much more work that gets done in class instead of sitting on a computer. And half of the time of your class you're actually working by yourself, and sometimes you get in groups, and you can't get in groups like that on a Zoom. So just socializing is limited also on a computer.
Good point. And Amaya.
And a kid in my class was quarantined and he missed out. A kid in my special class, he's been losing a lot of days of school. He missed the class party. He missed lots of fun stuff, and he hasn't come for school a lot.
Because he was quarantined.
Yeah, and he's got sick a lot.
Yeah. Well, that's the couple things there. We hope that we have much less quarantining going on. That's good. B, masks, as we talked about, are difficult, and someday we're not going to have to wear them. But most importantly right now is what you talked about, I think, is we're in school every day and we're not doing virtual learning consistently like we did last year or the year before even. And so that's my number one priority as superintendent. Certainly we want to keep, first priority is to keep everybody safe. But right next to that, right below that is the fact that we want to get kids to school every day, because you're right. I mean, the challenges of being out of school, both, just to try to learn as well as just dealing with your own mental health and social emotional health is really tough. And you've had to live that. So I really appreciate your insights on that and your understandings around it. I think it was, who was it? Jack talked about fitting in as a sixth grader. How hard is it to fit in and make friends, especially in, these times where it's a little different than before? Who wants to go? Gia, you want to talk?
It's really hard because some of your friends like have to be out and some of your friends can't like come to school every day.
Right, so it's hard to make friends then. While you want to talk, just jump in. Sinathy, go ahead.
I was gonna say a big challenge is like I feel as sixth graders, you're kind of required to have some social media like platform, at least to be like cool. And I feel like that takes toll on certain students because sometimes parents don't always want kids on there, not only just for their benefit, but for their safety too. And I feel like you're really required to like have it. I mean, I feel like it depends on the student also, because if you have friends in the classroom that you already know and you've been friends with for a while, like me and Landon's classroom, most of the kids from last year are in our class, pretty much all of them actually. So I feel like there are not many kids who don't fit in, although there are certain new ones that have a little bit of a hard time, but I feel like they're fitting in now.
Yeah, Kira, and then Jack.
I had trouble fitting in because my class has, like Sydney said, it had a lot of people from last year, but I didn't know like half of them since I never went into school a single day last year. And so I feel like getting back into the rhythm of things was a little hard for me. And I also like didn't know anything that happened last year. Like apparently for my class, there was this thing called the giant snow pile fight. And I was like, what in the world is that? Because I wasn't present for it.
Yeah, so coming back was a tougher transition because you were all virtual last year. All right. Who's next?
Me. So, I think my biggest challenge of fitting in is probably not as much fitting in with finding friends, but more as fitting in with the friends I have, because we have a lot of special needs kids in our class, and I feel like I'm helping out a lot of them, and then like some of my friends will be like mocking me on the things I say to try and like I'm not like saying I'm being like telling them what to do, but I'm saying like it's gonna be like hard to like they have to like it doesn't matter who does this, but like then they'll mock me about the things that I do.
So in other words, you're trying to help other kids and sometimes you get made fun of to do that?
Yeah, sometimes.
Yeah. But you know what's right, right?
Yeah.
And it sounds like you're making some great choices and hopefully you can bring some of your friends along with you to make sure that, you're doing the right thing, you're helping people. And because unfortunately, some adults and kids, sometimes people make fun of each other, and that's something that we've got to try to eliminate because that leads to the bullying, which certainly isn't something we can tolerate at all. But Jack, that's a really insightful thing from you, and I really appreciate that comment. Amaya, you've been very patient. What did you want to say?
Some girls on my bus were bullying a girl that was super quiet that always sat down. And in my classroom, I told a girl secret. She told it to everybody. And I don't like none of the girls in my classroom because they're mean and they're not kind to nobody.
So how would you go about maybe changing that a little bit? Like, so first of all, you helped the one girl on the bus, correct?
Yeah.
Right. And then did you tell an adult?
Yeah.
Right. And has that gotten better or?
Yeah, it's gotten better. The bus driver told them to not bully and they haven't bullied.
That's excellent. Basically, you really helped somebody. Right. Right. And so, and it's normal, especially in third grade. I used to, a long time ago, I used to teach third grade. I wasn't as good as your third grade teachers though. But anyhow, you know, it can be a tough age where kids are trying to figure out how to act and what to do. So I would say that keep talking to the adults in your life around people who, you know, you might not be getting along with or might be mean, but some of those people will end up being your friends. Cause I think as you get older, you're going to start to relate to each other and people are going to be nicer, but keep talking to adults. And I bet you some of these kids will end up being your friends, Amaya. So you got to give it a chance. Cynthia, you wanted to say something?
Yeah, adding on to the bullying thing, I feel like because a lot of kids now have devices, especially in sixth grade, almost everybody does. So I feel like cyberbullying is a big deal, especially because you're not really like, when you cyberbully, you're not saying it to their face, and you can't always tell what they're feeling or their expressions. And I feel like I can relate to Bristol's thought earlier on, like, you can't see people's emotions or how they're feeling with the mask on. I can relate that to actually like being online, because you're basically hidden by your profile picture or whatever you have on there, and people can be mean without actually realizing it. And I think people deserve to know that they can actually get in big trouble for that, especially because people can take snapshots of their texts and use it against them.
Yep. Bristol, you were going to say something.
I'm sorry. But I think trying to fit in and like finding friends this year has been honestly, I think easier than other years for me personally, because I've surrounded myself with a good group of people. I've like found who I really enjoy being with. And because we were virtual and not fully in school or in public for a good amount of time, now coming back, I've reunited with some of my old friends and had more experiences to hang out with other friends. So it's been, I think, a good year.
It's awesome. Ella, you wanted to say something real quick?
Yeah. So I think everybody's good at fitting in my class because we all have a group of friends, and there's some people that have a small group, but they're still a really good group of friends, and I think we're just really good at that, like making friends.
And it's not easy though, is it? And it's okay to have just a small group of friends while some people seem to have more friends, because it's not so much the number, it's the people that you really care about and interact with, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Now you have a unique situation because you got a person next to you who's your twin sister and you'll always be together. So that's pretty cool to have, isn't it?
Yeah, it was better at virtual learning because she was in my class. So I asked her, and if she finished first, she could help me, and then I finished, and then we could go play with my friends. But if they're not done, I would do something else.
You guys are in different classes this year or in the same class?
No, same class because we're actually in multi-age. So I'm in the same class for 2 years.
With Gia.
Yeah.
All right. And then Landon, did you want to say something real quick?
Yeah, so back to what Sunithy said, actually, with cyberbullying is a big thing because kids do believe that they can get away with anything they want, but anything that is put on there can be seen by anyone who controls that. It's not hidden. You can delete it, it's not gone. You can see it, but it's still there. And yes, people can take like screenshots of what you've sent, and it just you got to be careful with having that.
Yeah. I think it's a really, really important theme that all of you are talking about, especially as you get older in sixth grade and as you move into the junior high, around using social media the correct way. You don't want to put things on social media that you wouldn't, say to your parents or an adult. And you're right. We have rules in school. If things happen outside of school on social media that in a negative way impact school or impact what happens in school, then kids could be in trouble for that. And even if it happens outside of school and it's connected to school. So, we all have a responsibility to treat each other with respect and treat each other the way you want to be treated yourself. So that means that, social media is a big responsibility. And, sometimes it's good to really monitor that carefully. And if anybody is mistreating you on social media or mistreating somebody else, that's when you tell an adult. Okay. That's why I think all of you are great leaders. I can't believe how amazing you guys have been, but we're really flying through time here. So I apologize. And it's been a great conversation. But before we leave, and Amaya, I'm going to start with you because I know you wanted to talk, but I want to switch over to this topic. Okay. You ready? I want you to think, all of you, about somebody in your school, who has made a big impact on you, has been somebody who's really special, that's influenced you, and that you really, really are glad that you're with, and has contact with you. Who's somebody that's really important to you in school, Amaya?
Well, my teachers, Miss Coster, Miss Boyle, and Miss Scott, and Julianese. And last year I didn't have her in a class and I didn't know her. And last year I didn't like school, but this year I want to go to school every day because she helps me and I help her and we have so much fun.
That's awesome, Amaya. And see, you didn't even know the one person, right? Until this year. So you know what that means? You know what that means, Amaya? Go ahead. What?
The first day I didn't know her, and since the first day we've been best friends. The first day we literally became best friends.
Yeah, and guess what? Next year and the year after that, you're going to meet new people too, and you're going to be really good friends with them. So that's what's cool about being a kid. Cynthia, you next.
I'd say the two people that helped me a lot is my teachers. I love all of them. I think they've been really amazing, but the two I want to mostly mention are my sixth grade teachers this year. I really love them, and I think they push me towards my goals, and they help me to persevere through challenges. I feel like they play a big role in my education, and I think they are wonderful teachers.
Hey, what's their names?
Mrs. Becker and Mrs. Welling.
Great, thank you. And Jack.
I think definitely my teacher, Mrs. Habecker, because she has become such a good friend to me. She's helped me out through my hard times and even my best times of the year. And just another one of my friends, his name is Colin. He's helped me out through my tough times, figuring out my other friends and fitting in at the same time.
Landon.
Well, I actually, like we've said a few times, Timothy is in my same class. So, my sixth grade teachers, Miss Welling and Mrs. Becker, have been a huge help. And then, student council has also been something I've been doing, and a lot of these kids in here, are doing it too. Jack's teacher, Mrs. Habecker, she's very nice, and she is, probably, maybe, I don't know, I would say an easier teacher to understand because she's really nice and easy. So I feel like whenever I meet her, she just gives me good vibes.
Great, thank you. Where are we here? Josephine.
So I have a couple teachers. Also, Mrs. Habecker, she's my student council teacher, and whenever we have a meeting, it's always a good start to my day. and it's always like fun going to the meetings, seeing friends and stuff. And then my last year teacher, Mrs. Sheridan, she really also helped me through like a bunch of challenges last year. And like I had this art teacher for multiple years. Her name's Mrs. Rosati, and she was just always really kind to me.
Thanks, Josephine. Kira, I didn't get to you yet, did I? Go ahead, Kira.
I would like to thank all of my teachers this year and in past years, but that would be a lot. But this year I have Miss Palafrone and Mr. Stone, and they really helped me learn a lot. I like to write, and Miss Palafrone has really helped me grow in my writing technique. And I'm also in student council, and Miss Habecker is really nice. I have a slight connection to her. My older sister was also in student council, so they know each other, and she's just really nice. Like I think it was Josephine said, it's just a great way to start my day, and see her. And also Mrs. Smith-Faison, the inquiry teacher, she's really nice, and I just love it when I get to go to an inquiry with her.
That's awesome. Thank you, Kira. Bristol.
I honestly think all the staff has been really like helpful this year, to me personally, and to everyone else. But a few people that I think in specific, obviously my two sixth grade teachers, Mrs. Lowe and Mrs. Irwin, they've been a huge help. They've always been so sweet, and I always see them like supporting the students in my classroom. The nurses, the custodians, and other staff around the school, they have, I feel like, especially had a hard time. And I think the nurses, like, to be even more specific, because they've had to accommodate any students who have felt like sick. They've had to do health tracking, and they've had to call and tell like who's quarantining and all of that stuff. So I think that's a very big job and a very big deal. And then one more person is Mrs. Habecker, like a lot of people have mentioned. She's also my student council teacher, and she's just showed constant support. She's always like there to talk, and she's just such a sweet teacher, and I really appreciate her.
That's awesome. And then Gia, who's been a big influence on you?
My teacher, Mrs. Hall, because she helps me have a better growth mindset, and she helps me with the tough times.
All right, can I ask you a question though? Because you used a couple big words there. Growth mindset. What does that mean?
It's like having a good like a good mindset.
It sounds like it's something that helps you try to get better every day.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Be positive.
Be positive, right? Because
Yeah.
not everything is perfect, is it?
Yeah.
And Ella, who's somebody that's been a big influence on you?
My teacher, Mrs. Hall, she's just been helping us a lot. I see her supporting other students. She's really busy at times, and I feel like I'm helping her, and all my friends are too. And she's guiding us through the good times and the bad times.
That's what it's about, right, Ella?
Yeah.
And Maya, we already got you, I thought.
I have a question for the big kids. What's student council?
Oh, wow, that's a great question. Go ahead, somebody answer. Go ahead. I don't care who does it.
We can all answer here. Student
Yeah.
Council is like an organization of kids that are like, you send in an application and your teacher chooses if you're like good enough to be in it. Like if she or he thinks you can handle it. And it's like an extracurricular activity that you can do to help like plan stuff.
But there's also some work to filling out the application. Like you have to go to your three, or it doesn't have to be your three past teachers, but it can be three teachers that you like, or just three teachers that you think that could help you out. But so you have to get their recommendations for you to be in student council, and then the student council leader, which would be Mrs. Habecker in this case, um, she would have to pick every kid who has good recommendations and also a good reasoning of why they should be in student council. But I think that it's also of your personalities. But and then she would send that over to the other teachers, telling them this person made it into student council.
Yeah,
Yeah,
but
sorry to jump in.
what do you do in student council?
Kind of, it's kind of
Yeah.
like
So
it's like a bunch of students who are like leaders or role models, and they'll all meet together and talk about like goals of the month. Like we have goals of the month, and one was like it was, I don't know, it might be like organization or different words
for like food drives.
Yeah.
or like, and you also you organize like food drives and like donations and stuff, and you have to go back to your classrooms and share the information that you learned in student council. Like we had a food drive recently, so we had to go back to our classrooms and tell them about when the food drive was and what you could bring in.
Yeah,
explanation.
and last year there was an aide. His name was Mr. Skip, and the sixth grade student council, they all had everybody make cards for him, and I thought that was like really cool, and like that's what kind of like made me get into student council. Like I thought that it was cool helping other people like that. So like supporting people that have been are leaving, or sometimes just like helping out like with food drives and everything. Like food drives are particularly fun for me because you get to hang out with your friends while going around the school and helping other people.
It's great. And then, all right, Gia and Ella, you want to say you're the last ones because then we got to go because you guys have been phenomenal. Go ahead.
Yeah, so we actually did a food drive this year. It was really fun, and last year it was our first year doing it, and we actually collected more pounds than a whole Boy Scout troop, which I thought was really cool.
Well, did you do that in multi-age?
Yeah, and we came up with it, and this year we usually just do it with the we post it on Facebook, and we do it with just the multi-age teachers, but we got permission to make it school-wide this year.
That's awesome. Landon, what? I thought they were the last ones.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I just forgot to say this a little bit ago. Going back to like nominating or just kind of representing people that have been really helpful to us. I give lots of credit to the aides because they're very hardworking and they're very helpful. They have to help kids because there's aides that do everything. There's aides that walk around with you. They clean your lunch tables. They help kids in the classroom. And some kids in our classroom needs a little help with learning, but there's aides that can help them to do that. So I think without aides, we would have a classroom with a lot more downsides.
Yeah, sorry to jump in, Landon, but I was also going to say the custodians. I feel that being a custodian is a very hard job, and I feel like we owe it all to them because they keep our school clean, and especially with the pandemic, relating back to it, they mostly keep everything clean, and there are a lot of germs everywhere, so they're like superheroes.
It's a great shout out. All right, listen, unfortunately we got to go. I'm gonna stick around for a few minutes just to give a couple announcements. But I want to thank everybody on this call, on this Zoom call. You were phenomenal. I really didn't have to ask much. You talked, you did all the talking, and you're true leaders. You brought up some really important subjects, and I don't want you to forget those subjects. You need to keep talking to the adults around you in your school. Keep talking to me about things that need to improve and how do we support that. And also, I really know that you're all going to be leaders, regardless of whether you're in student government or not. You're all going to be fantastic leaders as you move through Victor Central School District. So really a big thank you to all of you for being on tonight. You did a great job. Thank your parents and your guardians for letting you come on. And they've done obviously a great job raising you, and keep doing the things you're doing because you're making our world a better place. So Thank you, everybody, and we'll talk soon, all right? I'm going to stay on for a couple of minutes with the audience. Thank you, though. I know Mr. Isaacs. Yep.
Thank you.
It's great seeing everybody.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you later. That was amazing. That we actually went for 50 minutes. I've never gone that long with a group of kids before. So I just wanted to let them keep talking because they were saying some really important things. And I hope people can go back and look at that because what a great group to learn from. Our elementary students. Just a few plugs before I leave. I was going to talk more about some other things, but time being the way it is, let me just give you some plugs. On Saturday, December 18th, members of the Junior High Young Leadership Club, excuse me, dropped off more than 75 toys collected through their toy drive at Eastview Mall. They also rang the bell for the Salvation Army. Now that's leadership. So fantastic job. Our Junior High Young Leadership Club is a group that some of these youngsters will want to go into when they get to the junior high. It's a great group of young leaders, and thank you for dropping off the 75 toys collected. We also had a whole group of people ringing the Salvation Army bell the last couple of weekends. They include the boys basketball team, the international club, Lindsay Scott's 12-1-1 team, the senior high Spanish club, the senior high wellness club, Mrs. Munsky's class, and actually some of the kids that were on here, the intermediate student council members, and the VEC 12-1-1 class. So that's just, I'm sure there's others who rang the Salvation Army bell, but obviously that goes to a great cause. And I know we raised a lot of money for those causes. The student council, something that is just amazing is happening tomorrow. The student council at the senior high school has been running a massive food drive for the food cupboard and other areas so that we can serve families in need. It's totally run by the student council. And tomorrow they're going to be boxing and delivering all the food. I think it's somewhere between 85 and 100 families that the student council is going to serve in terms of food tomorrow. They got to box it up tomorrow, serve it. And they're doing it just with a smile on their faces and doing it for the right reasons. And it's just another example of our students at Victor Senior High and the Victor Central School District do great things. And I'd be remiss if I didn't end with this group. It's one of my favorite groups selfishly because I try to get a cup of coffee a couple times a week, at least once a week. But the Victor Brew Devils, I want to put a shout out to the Victor Brew Devils. They began in the fall of 2018 as part of the 15-1-1 special education classes under Mrs. Morsheimer and Mrs. Arnitz. Students in the program work on job vocational skills in addition to building communication and social skills. Currently, students in the 12-1-3 and students working there towards the CDOS credential earned internship hours while serving customers, performing inventory tasks, and managing transactions run by the Victor Brew Devils. Prior to COVID, students who demonstrated success working at the Victor Brew Devils were placed in a coffee shop internship in the community to further enhance their vocational experiences. And that's something we're going to definitely go back to. But I just want to give a big shout out to the Brew Devils. There's always 2 to 3 students working the counter when I go in. I usually go in a little bit earlier. It's a huge thing at the high school, and there's so many adults that go down there to depend on getting a cup or 2 of coffee, and to be able to not only get your coffee, but have great conversations with the students and the adults who help our students run that it's just fantastic. They're unsung heroes. And I love the Victor Brew Devils. And if you get a chance and you work in our district and you step by the high school, it's open, I think, every day. And really a phenomenal practice. So shout out to the Victor Brew Devils. Listen, I hope everybody has an awesome holiday. Tomorrow is our last day of school before the long break. And then we'll be back on, I believe, Monday, January 3rd, 2022 for an outstanding second half of our school year. There's going to be a lot going on the second half of the school year, a lot of great things. Strategic plan's going to be unveiled. We're going to and do some of that on our town halls. We certainly have our 22-23 budget development, which is going to be really important. We're going to talk about that. Some great stuff going on academically the second half of the year. as well as we're going to be finishing up our capital project. So we can talk a little bit about that, maybe do a little tour through a town hall of some of the new buildings and facilities, including a brand new transportation center. And just a lot of exciting things. We're going to be starting an additional 2 classrooms in pre-K at the ECS to serve approximately 40 more students in one of the most important areas that we can serve kids, and that's pre-K. Very excited about that, and it's going to be at no cost to the taxpayer because it's all through grant money secured by our district. So we're going to add, again, 2 classrooms coming up the end of January in our pre-K program. So we can talk a little bit about that in our town halls as well. So really busy second half of the school year 2022 coming up. Most importantly, I wish health and happiness to all of you and your families. Enjoy the break, enjoy your kids. They're fantastic, and take care of yourselves and everybody.